1,000 years after it was first destroyed, the Somnath Temple remains a central fault line of Gujarat 2017. We are here at the magnificent Somnath Temple in Junagadh. With me here is Sanjeev Singh. Sanjeev, Somnath was the site of the most prominent of Rahul Gandhi's many temple visits in Gujarat this time, and the Prime Minister retorted by saying that it's not his great-grandfather who built it, but Sardar Patel. Tell us, why does Somnath matter so much in 2017 now?
Well, you see, the fact is that this time around, Congress is actually putting up a good fight. And what Rahul Gandhi has done is that he has been visiting a lot of temples. And of course, Somnath being one of...
That's part of his renewed focus on showing a Hindu identity.
Yeah, the sort of to somehow counter with soft Hindutva in that way. So when Rahul Gandhi had come...
We talked about Hindutva and there's a cow that walks into the frame.
So when Rahul Gandhi had come, if we can show, this is the exit.
If you can just pan there,
Yeah, so this is the exit from where people come out. So, and this is from where the pilgrims also make their way in. As you can see, this Gujarat tourism bus, a lot of pilgrims come here.
This is where the controversy of the visitor book happened, where the BJP claimed that somebody with Rahul Gandhi signed him in as a non-Hindu.
The Congress, of course, clarified, saying that, this is all forgery, and went on to the extent of saying that Rahul Gandhi is not just a Hindu, but a Janeudhari Brahmin.
In a sense, the Somnath Temple, where we are standing right now, has become a leitmotif of Hindu identity.
The statue of Sardar Patel stands tall in the Somnath Temple complex, and it is also a reminder of the deep divide within the politics of Gujarat between Congress and BJP. But Nalin, if you can tell us the difference between the sort of political narrative that is being built and the facts, how it actually played out as far as the reconstruction of this temple is concerned.
So it's very important, Sanjeev, as you said, to separate the political narrative, the myth, that the reconstruction of the Somnath Temple was announced by Sardar Patel on the 12th of November 1947. The reason for that, of course, was that the Nawab of Junagadh, this was part of a princely state, he was a Muslim. He decided to accede to Pakistan, much as the King of Kashmir decided to accede to India. So Patel, when he came here, he saw the reconstruction of Somnath Temple as a part of reasserting the Hindu identity of Junagadh. Thereafter, there is a cabinet resolution which was passed. The cabinet of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru passed a resolution endorsing the reconstruction of Somnath. This also had the blessing of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, after the cabinet resolution, actually said that what he meant was that while the temple should be built, it should be built by the resources of the people of India and not by the resources of the government of India. You have to remember the context. This is happening just after partition. There are millions of refugees of Hindus and Muslims on both sides of the border. There is huge communal divide between Hindus and Muslims. So the national leadership, but including Patel, Nehru and Gandhi, are trying very hard to separate the religious from the political, and they are very conscious of the symbolic meaning of each of these actions.
There was Jawaharlal Nehru on one side, and there was Sardar Patel and K.M. Munshi on the other side.
Patel was the only leader in the Congress who had a standing, who could take on Nehru, who had a standing of the kind of stature that Nehru had. Patel died in December 1950. So about 3 years after the reconstruction project was announced. The project itself the temple itself was inaugurated in 1951, and when it was built by funds raised by the Somnath Trust. K.M. Munshi, you mentioned, he's one of the great politicians of Gujarat. He was a cabinet minister in the Nehru government, part of the Congress, just like Patel. He was a food and civil supplies minister, wrote several books on Somnath. He raised the money for this individually. Then it leads to the first constitutional crisis in independent India, when Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the President of India, is invited to inaugurate the temple of Somnath in 51. Nehru then says, you cannot go here, as the state cannot be seen to be blessing it. The state can endorse it, but it can't be blessing a place of worship. And eventually, the temple is inaugurated by the President attending in his personal capacity.
But then where does the politics come in now?
The politics, Sanjeev, is that they are deferring views of the same mirror. The fact of the matter is, Sardar Patel remained a congressman until the day he died. K.M. Munshi was a congressman while the temple was built. Thereafter, of course, K.M. Munshi splits from the Congress. He forms the Akhand Bharat movement to begin with. Then he co-founds the Swatantra Party with C. Rajgopalachari, and then eventually joins the Jan Sangh. So there is a movement. These are factions within the Congress, a liberal, secular faction if you like, a right-wing faction if you like, but they're all part of the Congress middle at that point of time.
Despite being invaded and destroyed many times over, Somnath has always risen like a phoenix, being reconstructed each time. Nalin, tell us the historical perspective of the invasions and Somnath.
So in the popular imagination, Somnath is a conjunct with Mahmud of Ghazni and his invasions. Actually, the first invasions of Somnath happened much earlier. The first invasion is supposed to have taken place just 4 years after the death of the Prophet under Al-Junaid. That's number one. It's been invaded several times right up to the time of Aurangzeb. In fact, right here is the temple of Ahilyabai Holkar, which was the first, which was built after Somnath, after Aurangzeb destroyed that particular iteration of the Somnath temple. It was rebuilt by Ahilyabai Holkar. And eventually, of course, the big temple that we see right behind us on that side, which was rebuilt by K.M. Munshi, Sardar Patel and Rajendra Prasad.
But Nalin, there's also that history before India gained independence and in the middle when the Marathas were here.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of effort to bring back any bits of Somnath?
The British were very conscious of its symbolism. Lord Allenborough in the 1840s has his famous proclamation of the gates, where he instructs the British army in Afghanistan to bring back the gates of Somnath from Ghazni. And gates were brought back, except they turned out to be the wrong gates. They were native from Ghazni and not from Somnath, and they are still lying in the fort of Agra. Then Mahaji Scindia is said to have brought back what was said to be silver gates of Somnath from Lahore. Those again were not accepted by the Gaikwad ruler of that time, and they still are now in Shiva temples in Ujjain and other parts of Madhya Pradesh.
So it's not just about the ancient history of Somnath, but even in the current lot, L.K. Advani also started his yatra. What was the theme at that time?
So absolutely, Sanjeev, it's precisely because of the heavy symbolism and the religious and cultural significance of Somnath that L.K. Advani, when he started his Rath Yatra in 1990, it was from Somnath to Ayodhya. That wasn't an accident, and Narendra Modi at that time was the charioteer of that Rath Yatra of Advani in the Gujarat leg of it. And in the recent past, as you know, Hardik Patel has also done a yatra from Ahmedabad to Somnath, right?
Yeah, so in that sense, it's a sort of a pilgrimage for every politician to start whatever.
And the politics in Gujarat recognizes the importance of Hindu symbols and how they form the bedrock of the polity here. And both sides are essentially trying to use Somnath for their political ends. So that's our ground report from Somnath. Keep watching Election Times as we go across the length and breadth of Gujarat.